Welcome. Today I want to talk with you about abandonment, the feelings of being abandoned, and the fears of abandonment. So what does that really feel like? To me, it feels like being disregarded, devalued, and unwanted. Not good, right? So stay with me till the end, because I'm going to discuss the causes, what causes the fear of abandonment, the results of fear of abandonment, and then where we go from there, how we overcome it. Really important topic. I feel like the more I dive into this, I'm coming across it more with my clients, and it's coming out more into the light from the darkness, which is great. More people are talking about it, which is so important, because whatever we bring out into the light can be healed. So it's very important to talk about it, very important to share, with each other, because when we share with each other, we can brainstorm and heal with each other. So feel free to comment and tell me what works for you on your coping mechanisms for fear of abandonment. If you've suffered from this or been through this, or your significant other, perhaps, ways that you can help them, I would love to hear from you. All right, so let's dive in. Causes of fears of abandonment, right? Many times this starts with childhood wounds. Things that have nothing to do with us and everything to do with our caregivers. But we have an innate way of blaming ourselves, and we carry this deep guilt and shame within that weigh on our shoulders and follow us through life. So if you suffered from childhood neglect, for example, if mom and dad were hot and cold, maybe they were there one minute and not there the next. Certainly if mom and dad were abusive, maybe one or the other flew the coop and abandoned you. And that's an interesting topic, because often it's misunderstood by the child who was left behind. Maybe mom left in the middle of the night because she was being abused by dad and had enough. And maybe she very much wanted to take you with her, but she couldn't because she didn't have the financial means, and she didn't want to leave you living on the streets with her, but that was the only way she could get out. And so your whole life you're living with this feeling of frustration, wanting so badly to understand why and how she could have left you. It's a deep hurt, understandably. Sometimes one or the other or both parents are narcissistic. Other times you have experienced narcissistic abuse in adulthood. Children who have experienced a bad situation of divorce in adolescence can have fear of abandonment in adulthood. Children who have been adopted might have a fear of abandonment. They didn't understand why they weren't wanted by their mom and dad, right? And then anyone who's experienced betrayal, deep betrayal, or been cheated on, they might have deep fears of abandonment. So what this does is create deep trust issues, really, right? It makes us question everything. So as a result, of these abandonment issues, we have insecurities. We self-sabotage. We might be clingy and needy. We might be people pleasers because that's the only way that we feel we can get love, is to bend over backwards to please other people. We might have push-pull relationships in our adult relationships where we pull people in wanting the love, but then when we feel like they're getting close and giving us the love, we push them away because it scares us. So at that point, we're self-abandoning ourselves because we're no longer believing we're worthy of love. And that's really the worst abandonment we can do, is self-abandon. We're no longer believing we're acceptable and lovable. It's very sad. And it happens a lot. And often it's subconscious thoughts that cause it. We don't realize that we're even doing it, but we're pushing people away because we don't believe we're lovable. And ironically, we blame the other person. And it's really self-sabotaging, but it's also self-abandoning. We abandon our ability to love and accept ourselves. Okay, so what happens next? What do we do? How do we fix it? So the way we overcome the fear of abandonment is by learning how to love and accept ourselves and to tell ourselves that we're now safe. But how do we do that? Okay, so we appeal to our inner child. Whether these abandonment wounds happen to you as a child or as an adult, we still have to appeal to the fear factor of the child within, because that child is within us our entire life. And when we have deep-seated fears, it's typically that child within us that's scared. So we have to appeal to that child. So there's several things we can do. Rather than focus on who hurt us, who hurt you, we need to now focus on our emotions, what we're feeling in the here and now, in the present moment, okay? So identify everything that you're feeling and get real specific in each moment. Allow each emotion to surface authentically. And you're gonna feel a wide range of emotions within the fear of abandonment, right? We might feel sadness. We might feel rejection. We might feel inferior. We might feel hurt. We might feel embarrassed. We might feel confused. We might feel angry. We might feel really inadequate. Whatever emotion surfaces, identify it, accept it, journal about it. Ask yourself, where does this come from? Is it true? What would your best friend say about it? Accept it, forgive it, don't judge it. Let it come in the front door, let it go out the back door. Let it move through you freely. That's how we get through it. We feel it to heal it. All right? We don't want to stuff anything down. We don't want to repress the emotions. We want to let it all out. Even if it hurts. Cry, scream, work out, run. Get the adrenaline out of your body. And then soothe yourself. Assure your inner child that you are now safe. You are now in charge. Give yourself a pep talk. Look in the mirror. I am loved. I am worthy. I accept myself exactly as I am. Tell yourself all the things that you needed to hear from whoever it was that hurt you, whoever it was that abandoned you. Tell yourself what you needed to hear from that person, because you are now taking over. You are now that person. Then grieve, because you have lost somebody that was important to you. And grief comes in waves. It's gonna haunt you when you least expect it, and that's okay. Be prepared for that. But it's also okay to go on living, to go on loving yourself, and that's not narcissistic. Loving yourself is healthy. Loving yourself makes you lovable for someone else. It prepares you for the love that you are worthy of. So this is how we get through the fear of abandonment. These are the steps. If you need to talk to a therapist or a coach, that's perfectly acceptable. That's normal. But work through these things. Don't bury it down and expect them to go away. It's not going to go away on its own. This is deep stuff. And it will continue to creep up on you and self-sabotage you until you work through it and process it. Once you process it and work through it in baby steps, then you'll come out on the other side and you'll be ready with freedom to live your best life. So that's my tip for the day on the fear of abandonment, the causes, the results, and how to overcome it. So I hope this has helped. Comment, tell me what you think. Tell me what other content you would like to see and hear about. And thank you so much to those who have subscribed. If you haven't yet, just hit that button and join. In case no one else has told you yet today, you are amazing.